Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students of class 8C, this is your biology lecture number 1 and I am your teacher Muhammad Ilyas. I welcome you for this special series of e-learning. Dear students, our today's topic is from your book NLS Science 2, chapter number 7, and the page number is 62 to 71, and the topic is water pollution. Dear students, today we will be focusing to learn and understand the concept of water pollution and what pollutes of water. Secondly, we will be focusing on the controlling of water pollution, and thirdly, how can we clean up our rivers from these pollutants. So these three objectives we have to carry out throughout this lecture. So water is very important for life. Our all life depends on water. Our cells are made up of 70% or more of water. So water is of great importance for us. What are the causes of this water pollution and what is water pollution? Now we are focusing on the water pollution. Any physical like temperature, oxygen, chemical like mercury, cyanide, acids, bases, or biological different germs and sewage. These physical, chemical and biological change to water that adversely affects its use by living things, by all living things, including the man. All these things, all these substances can cause the water pollution, and this is very harmful for us. So we are now focusing on the water pollution causes and effects. Before going to the causes and effects in detail, look at this. What is this situation? And many things which are polluting our water, all these things are called pollutants. So water can be polluted by factory wastes, agriculture wastes such as fertilizers, pesticides and farm wastes, oil, untreated wastes, household wastes and litter. Dear students, we are now going to focus on all these pollutants one by one. The first, we are going to focus on the factory wastes. The factory waste, a wide range of impurities like mercury, cyanide, lead, acids, alkalis and other toxic wastes make the water poisonous for life, specifically the aquatic life and all the lives, because all the lives depends on the water. We also depend on the water. So factory waste are very serious threats to the life. Secondly, we are going to focus on the fertilizers. Dear students, you are thinking about this. Fertilizers are very important. Yes, of course, but the excess use of fertilizers that stayed in the fields and run off into the waters by rivers and by leaching process. When these nutrients come into the water, they promote the growth of different plants and other organisms, specifically the algae. When the algae grow up in a big quantity, it floats over the water surface and block the sunlight for other aquatic lives, and it also consume up the oxygen present in the water. So in this way, algae suffocates the aquatic life. So excess use of fertilizers is very harmful for us, and it pollutes the water. And the third, pesticides. The use of pesticides is important to kill the unwanted insects and other pests for better crops. But excessive pesticides, when it is used, they can be washed into the rivers and lakes by rain. and they are very poisonous for the life in water. So we have to reduce the use of pesticides for reducing the water pollution, farm wastes and other big threat for the aquatic life. In fish farms, chemicals are added to the water in the pens. Pens are specially designed to grow the fish in water. The chemicals are added in the pens to prevent fish from diseases. These chemicals in uneaten fish food finally washed off into the streams and the rivers and polluting the water. Animal wastes from pig and poultry farms also pollute the water when they are washed off into the rivers and streams. Oil. Oil from a large and huge layer over the water surface and deprive the aquatic life of oxygen and also poison the marine life. Dear students, this oil comes from the oil tankers and mainly responsible for causing oil spills. What these oil spills done? These oil spills forms a layer of film on the water surface and preventing the oxygen in the air for dissolving in the water. This deprives aquatic life of oxygen for respiration. Fish and other forms of marine life are poisoned and killed by the oil. Litter. Every year, thousands of aquatic life died because of the litter, like fishing nets, packaging, plastic rings, and styrofoam. For example, the styrofoam. Many animals in the water, they swallow these plastic balls of styrofoam, which make them feel full and stop them from feeding properly, and in this way the aquatic life died. And very important aspect of water pollution is untreated sewage. What is sewage? Sewage is water. Once used, it becomes sewage. This sewage contains grease, food, toilets, wastes, detergents and other harmful substances like the germs. If this sewage discharged into the water may cause diseases like cholera, gastric flu, polio, typhoid and dysentery. These are very harmful diseases, especially are in rural areas. Food contents promote the bacterial growth, and these bacteria consumes the oxygen in water and reduces the oxygen level, and this reduction in the oxygen level in the water kill the aquatic life by suffocation. When they are not able to get oxygen, they suffocated and died. So these are the few pollutants which we have discussed right now, which can cause the water pollution. Now we are focusing on controlling the water pollution. How can we control the water pollution? We have to say no to water pollution. This is very important. How can we control this? We can get an example from Singapore. The Singapore government taken some steps to reduce the water pollution. This water pollution can be controlled by three ways. Because water pollution is very expensive and ongoing process, but it is essential if we are to have a clean supply of water in future. The main steps are prevention, enforcement and monitoring. Prevention. The Singapore government To prevent the water pollution, they develop a board called the Pollution Control Department, which ensures the new industries and residential developments should be properly sited and are compatible with the surrounding land use. Industries can be sited near water catchment areas and they are served by public sewers to ensure that the water in the catchment areas is not polluted by the industries. So they took the preventive measures, and beside this they made some laws for the enforcement of this controlling of pollution. The PCD means Pollution Control Development ensures that all water wastes, both domestic and industrial, should be discharged into the public sewage system, and industrial waste has to be pre-treated to prescribed standards. Offenders who dump untreated waste or sewage into the water can be prosecuted by law. So Singapore government made some laws to enforce this control of water pollution. And the third and very important controlling aspect is monitoring. The sewage department maintains the public sewage system. They look after the sewage facilities and treat sewage effluents for industrial use. Raw sewage is treated before it is released into the sea or river. The water quality of inland and coastal waters is monitored regularly. Their pH values and the amount of dissolved oxygen are also checked frequently. And to prevent the oil spills, the tanker cleaning activities are only allowed to be carried out in certain designated areas. Here, students, we are focusing on the very important aspect, that is cleaning up of our rivers. The cleaning up of rivers is very important because the rivers are the source of water supply to the crops and for drinking purposes. The Singapore government has taken some action and they developed a project called a Clean Rivers Project. It was launched in 1977 to clean up the Singapore River and Klang Basin. The aim was to improve or to remove the filth and stench from rivers and canals permanently so that clean water will flow in them and aquatic life will return. Actions were taken against the following sources of pollution. The first is squatters. Squatters were removed to flats where facilities for disposing household waste are provided, proper sewerage and sanitary facilities available at the flats. The bucket latrines and overhanging latrines were replaced by the latrine system, proper latrine system, which discharge their waste not directly into the streams or rivers. Second step they have taken, the backyard traders and cottage industries. The backyard factories were relocated to the industrial workshops, fitted and equipped with proper waste water disposal facilities. So the third step which they have taken about these street hawkers. Basically the street hawkers threw their waste into the roadside drains, making them smelly and dirty. Food centers were set up in different parts of Singapore so that former street hawkers can have proper places to run their businesses. These food centers are equipped with proper waste disposal and sewage system. And the next step which they have taken is the pig and duck farms. The pig and duck farms were a major source of pollution. By 1982, all pig and duck farms were phased out. And the last, lighters and boat repairs yards. The lighters and the boat repair yards pollute the rivers with oil, sludge water and solid wastes. They were relocated to the lighters terminal where lighter berths have been constructed. Any oil spills at the wharf can be identified quickly and treated with proper chemicals without delay. Besides taking all these steps, my dear students, Singapore has taken 10 years and a lot of efforts to clean up the rivers. And if we want to clean up our rivers, we have to take all these steps. So, dear students, hopefully that you have learned and understand the water pollution, its causes, and how we can control the water pollution and how we can clean up our rivers. So I'm going to assign you the homework from the chapter number 7. You have to do the review questions 1 to 5 on the page number 72 and submit to your teacher. Thank you very much for being with me and understanding this topic. Please, dear students, stay at home, stay safe. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.